welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today, I'm so excited about this. We reached out immediately as he became president and CEO of PPAI, and we scheduled it right now. I'm really excited we're doing it right now. Dale Denham is joining us, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. Dale, thanks so much.
Thanks. And yes, we did talk very early on, and I'm glad we waited till today as well.
Yeah, we've got some big stuff to discuss. So I just want to jump in. You had a pretty big announcement like last week from the PPAI Expo about the party that's coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about this, the special location, what it's about, and how it came to be?
Yeah, so I'm very excited about it. I mean, to get to do an event like this at Expo, to welcome everybody back to the Expo after taking a year off due to COVID, we wanted to do something big and different. And we've had the party before for many years, but we really wanted to make something special because Expo is something special. And so we rented out a portion of Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. And
So cool.
I have to give credit to Alan in particular, but also to Ellen.
Yeah.
This was not my brainchild; it was their brainchild. It's not inexpensive, but it is going to be a great event for all of those of us, whether you watch football or don't watch football, to get to go in and see this. I forget how many billions of dollars was spent on this stadium, to see it up close and personal inside, be able to get a photo down on the field, hang out by the torch and eat some really good food and drink a very wide open bar and hang out with industry people on the the Wednesday night of the show. It's just going to be phenomenal.
I couldn't be more excited. And again, I was excited to come anyway. And then I saw that and I'm like, oh my gosh. So was that difficult to organize? And you mentioned Alan and Ellen. How did they manage it?
Yeah, so it's been several, I'll say weeks of work, probably 10 to 12, almost the whole time I've been at PPAI, it's been being worked on. And there's been, I think, 3 different site visits and conversations. They're not the easiest people to negotiate with, but they're good people.
Yeah.
So we had to make it so it was good for us and good for them, and in particular, good for our attendees. So a lot of back and forth, a lot of effort, and everything we promote has to go through them because Allegiant Stadium is who we're doing this with, but the Raiders is a whole different thing. So you won't see anything about the Raiders in anything.
That's super interesting. Okay. So other than by the way, very excited. Kudos to you and your team for that. I'm fired up about that. I think it's really neat. So other than the big party, how are plans coming for Expo? What can attendees like yours truly expect?
Yeah, I think attendees can expect what they get every year from Expo. There's going to be a ton of people there, a ton of exhibitors, great energy, great education. The only changes that we're going to see a slight decline in the number of booths, but we're still going to have over 2,000 booths. I think it'll be somewhere in that 2,300 range.
Wow.
Still by far the largest show in the industry, and still a very big show to walk. Yeah. So bring your tennis shoes. There'll be, again, some less attendance because there are people who are just concerned about COVID one way or the other. We are currently following whatever the city/state of Nevada says we're going to do in terms of mandates. So right now they have a mask mandate because they're above the percentages they have to be at, but that could go away. It could go away and come back, but we're not going to add anything. We're not health experts. We're letting the state decide that and follow the health experts they choose to follow. And as of right now, that means there will be a mask mandate, but that could change. And I would say it's like 50-50. They could go either way.
Yeah, just come prepared. To me, that's just, I mean,
we'll have masks. We will have masks for people, plenty of them, both sponsored masks and K95 masks. But the event itself, great education, great people. That we're not taking anything away. We're only adding things to make it that much more special.
That's cool. I'm really excited about it. I've actually got my flights booked, got my hotel booked, and I'm fired up to be there this year.
Speaking of hotels, before you switch, if anybody's staying at the Luxor, they upgraded all their rooms this year, so they're much nicer than they were before.
Good to know.
And the other thing is, if you're staying at any MGM property, download their app and check in early with your digital app. It'll make you you don't have to wait in those long lines that can happen to check in.
Now that's pro tip right there. I will be doing that later today. That's great stuff. Okay. So I want to switch gears just a little bit. I mean, you've been on the job for a few months now. What have you been working on for those who you haven't had a chance to talk with? What have you been working on? What have you learned so far?
So a big part of it was learning and still is, but I was pleasantly surprised how much I knew and how quickly I felt comfortable in the role. By week 3, I felt like I had been there at least 3 months, and here
Mm.
week 10 or 11, I'd say it feels like I've been here a year. But still asking lots of questions, which I will always do. That won't change, just more than usual. But there's been one big primary focus, and it has been Expo. How do we make sure the word gets out? How do we make sure that we run a great and safe event? That's been the very big primary focus of myself and the team. But then again, there's budgeting going on. It's that time of year. And the other thing that's consuming, and right now is consuming the majority of my time, is strategic planning. So the
Mm.
board of directors did a great favor to the association and to the industry. They held off on their strategic planning, finalizing it until the new CEO started. So several weeks ago, I was a part of that planning. And right now we're taking the framework that we established with the board of directors. And as a team, we're developing that 3 to 5 year plan, which will create some investment opportunities next year. And it's a matter of prioritizing those and identifying the ones that are the most valuable to our members. And I'm pretty excited. I won't give you the heads up on it, but I'm pretty excited about one thing that we're highly likely to announce at Expo
Mm.
that our members will love, and I think is it's going to be significant in terms of the value we provide to the industry and the
Mm.
industry to the world.
That's awesome. All right. I love the tease. I love the tease. Just another reason to be at Expo, right? So one of the things I would say is you have a unique perspective. I'm sure many people know this, but I'm not sure everybody does, is that you were on the board, right? And you were a president of the board at one point. And now, of course, you're president and CEO. So with that in mind, because you had that past experience moving into the position you have, has anything surprised you so far? Like whether it's good or bad, has anything caught you completely off guard or
Nothing completely off guard.
yeah.
I think the interesting thing is in anything you perceive things one way versus inside. And in particular, I think the strength of the team at PPAI and the strengths and how we can utilize them is something that's really hard to see when you're only operating at a board level, even
Mm.
as involved as I was as a board member. And seeing that firsthand up close and personal has been very useful, exciting,
Yeah.
and challenging at the same time, because there's things we need to be able to do that we might have to fit a few new people in here and there. But really the opportunity to leverage the skill sets there. The other piece I would say, it's not so much a surprise, but I just have to mention it. The amount of work that the staff and frankly the board of directors did during COVID to keep PPAI healthy,
Mm.
and the amount of, just like every business in the industry, extra work people took on and such
Yeah.
was pretty significant. And we're still there, like many others. We cut to not only survive, but to be set up for success. And now it's time to be reinvesting back in setting up for that success. So I have to just applaud everybody for the extra sacrifices they made. And that goes for staff as well as the board of directors, who met weekly for
Hmm.
most of the experience through COVID.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big increase in their normal meetings, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've answered my 4 questions, but I got a bonus question for you. So
Okay.
just because we have been talking a lot about Expo, I know that's the big focus right now. So now that people have heard about the party, because we're starting to leak that out and I'm excited about it. We've heard about the plans for the Expo. Can they still register? How can they do it?
Yeah, so if you go to expo.ppai.org, there's actually a place on the home page for you to go look up your registration and add the party registration to it.
Okay,
It's a
cool.
pretty simple process, but I would say do it early. The prices are going up, I think the week of Thanksgiving, and the limitations on the number of people we can have in that venue is pretty low.
Mhm.
So we will hopefully hit that. I believe we'll exceed that, and hopefully we won't exceed it by too many. We're going to try to manage that carefully, because not only does everybody want to get together and hang out and have a good time, just that venue is just going to be incredible. Just a great way to wrap up the show. Well, it's not the final, the next day is the final day, but that final night,
Yeah.
to get to see everybody and have those pictures. And the next time you're watching a Raiders game, to go, I was there.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And just to be clear, you can suppliers and distributors can still register for Expo too, right?
That's correct. And we would encourage them to do so, as well as get their housing while everything is the cheapest it's going to be. And I've had a few people, say, well, I'm waiting, I'm holding out. There's really no reason to hold out. You're going to save money if you do it now. Every airline has complete unlimited change fees. So the worst case scenario is you push your flight somewhere else through the rest of the year next year. Yeah. But flights are filling up. There's not as many flights as there used to be. So people who are waiting on that, they're going to end up paying more for their flights, getting more seats if they get a seat at all. So the flights are really important. Hotels as well. It's amazing how much they're booking up. When I was out there just a few weeks ago and doing the site visit, the hotels were full. And these were people there on social, energizing time. It was a busy time. So and there's of course a Raiders game the day before, and who knows what's going to happen the weekend after.
That's awesome. Well, Dale, I know you are busy, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time. I'm excited about the event, and I appreciate all the work that you and the whole team have done. So thank you.
Thank you, and keep up the good work in the industry. We love hearing from you.
Thanks, buddy. Well, we'll have to do this again sometime. That's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.